he maintained contact with Epstein after his arrest, knowing that all of that was being monitored? That's way worse than the incriminating calls from jail. You are a Mountbatten, Windsor. Disgusting.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. Johnson sex record refusing to swear in Adelita Grijalva for 36 days after she won the election. And by the way, that article was printed October 29th. She still hasn't been sworn in. We're going on 45 days and counting. And I wonder, what is it that he has against Arizona? I mean, I held it against Arizona when they didn't want to honor Martin Luther King Day, but even I let that go. I wonder what it could be. DOJ tells Republicans that Epstein files even worse for Trump than they thought. Several House Republicans have reportedly heard from the Department of Justice that the unreleased Jeffrey Epstein documents are especially compromising for President Donald Trump. That's according to a memo from former MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News reporter David Shuster, who posted to his X account on Wednesday that there is speculation/rumors sweeping through the GOP caucus about the details of the Epstein files. Wait a minute. So, am I supposed to believe that the Republicans have been operating this shady before they knew how bad the Epstein files were? Is that what I'm supposed to believe? A few GOP House members say they've heard from FBI DOJ contacts that the Epstein files with copies in different agencies are worse than Michael Wolff's description of Epstein photos showing Trump with teenage girls. Speculation and rumors sweeping through the GOP caucus. Wait. So y'all knew it was photos circulating of him with teenage girls at the beginning. Like y'all, that's what y'all already knew. And now you finding out it's worse than that. I swear. Y'all relationships got to be crazy. What do y'all need to see? Honestly, what is it that y'all need to see? Y'all spouses can get away with anything. Where was you at last night? No, cause I saw the photos online of you with them little girls, and y'all went into the hotel and you was there for exactly 7 minutes. And I know that's the exact right time. You came out 7 minutes later with no shirt on. I saw all the surveillance. I was in there cheating. Yeah, I was in there cheating. Well, I'll wait and hear from her then. I'll wait and hear from her before I draw any conclusions based on all of the evidence and you telling me that that is in fact the case.
In his safe, he has these photos of the president and surrounded by topless girls.
I forget the initial shock that I had when I walked into this house and this room. And I remember saying something to Epstein about it because how could you not? It's just, this is not the way other people lived. And I kind of, summoned a compliment or like, wow, this place is incredible. And I remember he then took his knuckle and rapped on the wall and he said, fake, it's all fake.
And I'm reminding people that you were there at his invitation because he wanted you to write a book about him.
Yes.
So you ended up spending some time with him because he'd said, just come and hang out at my house. I just want to set the table, as it were, metaphorically, so people understand why you were there.
Yeah, no, exactly. And thank you. But then our conversation rolled on into when it started in 2015 and then into 2016, when Trump became what many people obviously were talking about because he was running for president, but Epstein was particularly focused because he and Trump had been the closest of friends for more than a decade, and Epstein fancied himself a real Trump whisperer, that he understood Donald Trump.
Yes. This from the Trump biographer, that Epstein understood Trump intimately in a way that others did not.
And in my experience, he was one of the more insightful people about Trump. And I have spoken to a lot of people about Donald Trump. But at any rate, in the course of one of these discussions about Trump, he left the room and then came back holding in his hands about a dozen Polaroid snapshots.
Oh, they're Polaroids. They're Polaroids.
Well, in my mind, they're Polaroid. I'm not 100% sure that they were, but they had those crenellated edges like a Polaroid. That's in my, as I say, in my mind, these are Polaroids, but they certainly are snapshots. And then he kind of like a deck of cards, kind of displayed them on the table. And there were specifically three that I remember, and this is now almost 10 years ago. So, but the three that I remember are two in which topless young women, and I don't know the ages of these women, but they are young, are sitting in Trump's lap.
This is what y'all already knew. This is what y'all already knew. And now you're finding out that it's in fact worse. And let's not ignore the fact that he went and got them and just threw them out and gave them to a writer like that was regular. He threw them down like the big joker in spades. Like he just threw the top. He just threw them on the table like that, like they weren't particularly valuable. Apparently there was more. Apparently he didn't particularly need them for any reasons, because they weren't outside of the realm of normalcy for what he might extend to a writer about Trump, the guy that knew him intimately.
Damn.
MAGA. I know that the GOP representatives are aware of all of these things, and their behavior in this regard is despicable enough. I just need to know where y'all are at. Because y'all love to protect children and victims. So I just need to know. I mean, y'all will prosecute a case where there is no evidence. Apparently there's a whole table's worth.
Some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
The veteran journalist further reported that Republicans were spooked by Attorney General Pam Bondi's testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee after she refused to answer a question from Senator Sheldon Whitehouse about whether she had personally seen the photos after the contents of Epstein's safe were confiscated. Y'all were spooked, huh? Concerned she might tell the truth? Is that it? I can understand how that might spook a MAGA representative. This what y'all was talking about?
Let me ask you something else. There's been public reporting that Jeffrey Epstein showed people photos of President Trump with half-naked young women. Do you know if the FBI found those photographs in their search of Jeffrey Epstein's safe or premises or otherwise? Have you seen any such thing?
Wait a minute. Let's take a time out. Did you see Pam Bondi's reaction to that question? Did you see her reaction to that question? Pam Bondi, why would you react that way? Why would you react that way? Because of your disgust that he would bring up what? Something that is untrue? Apparently, there is evidence to this. I would love for you to go ahead and say if, in fact, it's not true. That should certainly be your response. But if this is something that exists, do you think this is not relevant while we're discussing the Epstein files? Did you think we were all supposed to be in on this particular cover-up? Why would you react that way to a very legitimate question that's being asked of some content and some evidence that looks particularly bad for somebody that sits in a seat that you love to criticize less than a year ago?
You know, Senator Whitehouse, you sit here and make salacious remarks, once again trying to slander President Trump left and right, when you're the one who was taking money from one of Epstein's closest confidants, I believe, I could be wrong, correct me, Reid Hoffman, who was with Jeffrey Epstein on multiple occasions. And the senator sitting right next to you tried to block the flight logs from being released. Yet you're grilling me on President Trump and some photograph with Epstein? Come on.
Are we supposed to pretend like your unwillingness to actually respond to that was anything other than an outright admission that it's true? Are we supposed to pretend like you didn't just tell us the entire thing is true? I mean, you went with slander and salacious rumors, but at no point did you say that wasn't in fact the case. And you tried to deflect to something that would be far less problematic. So let me take the incoming of your accusations of the photos with the topless women, and I will return you back some financial impropriety while admitting that is in fact the case. Thanks for playing, Pam Bondi.
Did the FBI find those photographs that have been discussed publicly by a witness who claimed Jeffrey Epstein showed them to him? You don't know anything about that. Okay.
And this is what I call one of the small victories during the earlier portion of this year, where we saw all of this behavior from the right wing. They're tied to it now. Oh, you're tied to it now. Because here's the thing, Pam Bondi, you wouldn't tell us those things didn't exist, and you could believe that they didn't exist, or you could go along the route of trying to obfuscate, actually giving an answer and any kind of clarity in this regard, which makes you complicit in the thing when it all comes out. This is yours now.
And I will tell you right now, as God is my witness, if we lose the midterms and we lose 2028, some in this room are going to prison, myself included. They're not going to stop. They're getting more and more and more radical.
Or you could, not do things that would send you to prison. That is always an option. But I understand maybe not a clear and present option for the MAGAs at this particular point in time. According to Shuster, Republicans' anxiety about the contents of the Epstein files is compounded by more than 100 plus Republicans who are reportedly planning to vote for the bipartisan discharge petition by Reps Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, which only needs one more signature in order to force a floor vote. Rep-elect Adelita Grijalva, who won the late September special election to fill a seat vacated by her late father, promised to be the 218th and final signature on the discharge petition, though she has yet to be sworn in. Okay. So by refusing to swear in Rep. Grijalva, not only have we enveloped the current DOJ, but the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, as well. Why don't you come on down? Mike Johnson ain't blast TV to drown out Dems' Epstein protests in front of office. Rep. Yasemin Ansari set up a table outside Speaker Mike Johnson's office to push the claim that he was refusing to swear in Adelita Grijalva because she would be the final vote needed on a petition to release the files related to Jeffrey Epstein. During the Thursday protest, Ansari sat behind a table, which was attached to a sign reading, "Mike Johnson is starving families and gutting healthcare to cover up the Epstein files. Change my mind." According to Ansari, a staffer from the Speaker's office turned up the volume on a nearby television to drown her out.
That is the most important part of what this entire fight has been about from the get-go. And again, the Tuesday night's election results prove that people are sick and tired of this corruption. They're sick and tired of the government buying for billionaires, and they're sick and tired of Donald Trump playing with their lives. So I would hope that if Mike Johnson wants any 2% chance of retaining the House next year, that he would take that into consideration and try to get this.
First of all, let me say I love the visual of her setting the table up in the hallway like that. Look like she's selling cookies or lemonade. Which she probably should while she out there. She can make a couple dollars. So your response from Mike Johnson's office was to turn up the TV. That's as transparent as Pam Bondi testifying in front of Congress. Y'all are basically doing the real life equivalent of Dave Chappelle knocked a drink over and run out the room. Like that would be less obvious than what I'm seeing from the GOP at this particular point in time. It's no wonder Hakeem Jeffries went off on y'all.
Been released on a personal note. How does it feel to work with so many grown adults who have been obstructing the release of these Epstein files and in effect protecting pedophiles?
Well, the Trump administration and Mike Johnson are running a protection program. That's what they've been doing. And that's the reason why they refused to swear in Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva. For weeks now. She was elected in late September decisively. And Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva still hasn't been sworn in because she'll become the 218th vote on an up or down piece of legislation that will require the Department of Justice to release the Epstein files. And yet week after week after week have gone by and Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva is unable to serve 800,000 plus people in the state of Arizona, all because of the protection program being run by Mike Johnson and House Republicans at the direction of their boss, Donald J. Trump.
He said the whole protection program. I don't want that kind of PPP loan. I don't want that kind of PPP loan. That is not what I asked for. But as far as y'all are concerned, prove him wrong. Prove him wrong. You know, the argument that you would behave in anything less than a transparent way if you feel you are in fact innocent is ironclad. We have these discussions all the time when it comes to surveillance footage, when it comes to police body cams and all that kind of stuff. There is a lot of freedom and a lot of clearance in transparency. But your lack of transparency forces me to conclude a knowledge of guilt. And as long as that lack of transparency becomes a moving scheme involving multiple parties, well, now that guilt just spread across the party like butter on bread.
some in this room are going to prison, myself included.
Now, there once was a time, and yeah, I see you over there, Lisa Murkowski. There once was a time where Trump's threats of a primary challenge or attacking you publicly was seen as sufficient reason to abandon your oath of office and your duty to America. But y'all did see those election results, didn't you?
After what happened during the election, some Dems are saying that they have the momentum and that Tuesday's election shows voters have turned on President Trump. So what might this mean for next year's midterms? Because a lot of people are shifting to that now. CNN's Harry Enton here with us. I need to make sure I give you your due, Chief Data Correspondent Harry Enton. What did Tuesday's elections tell you about how important Trump will be for down ballot Republicans?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of Republicans who saw those polls that, showed Donald Trump low nationally, and they didn't necessarily believe him. But for Democrats, those polls are real and they are spectacular. And the reason I say that is because take a look here. Voted for the Democratic nominee among Trump disapprovers. I got 2017, Trump's first term, and 2025 in New Jersey and Virginia. In 2017, among the Trump disapprovers, the Democratic nominees got 82% in New Jersey, 87% in Virginia. Come over to this side of the screen. If there is any idea that Republicans are going to be able to outrun Donald Trump's low approval ratings, this says, nah-uh. They're going to be like impalas getting chased down in the African desert by a big lion. Look at this. 93% of Trump disapprovers voted for the Democratic nominee in New Jersey, and 92% voted for them in the great Commonwealth of Virginia. The bottom line is this. What those results on Tuesday night showed us is that Donald Trump is absolutely a drag on Republican candidates in New Jersey and Virginia, likely nationwide. If you are in a state where Donald Trump is underwater, you are in big, big trouble.
Oh, it got worse.
Let's go next! Let's go next! Let's go next!
And I want to know about you eating a burrito on the train.
3 words for you. I'm not sorry.
That's a mic drop right there, bitch.
Y'all had all this smoke for Zohran Mamdani and nothing for the party that is refusing to swear in a duly elected member of Congress because she might be the deciding vote in releasing the Epstein files. At least you got your priorities straight. You know what I mean? At least they got their priorities straight, and they're, and I would love to know from you too, MAGA, because this is fascinating. Y'all love to wrap yourselves in the flag and in patriotism and all of that. I would love to know what tolerance you have for people's voices not being heard in our democracy. I would love to know, because, is it because it's a Democrat? So therefore, okay, so your freedom only extends as far as you voting Republican. So you have no freedom. You're basically hostages. You're basically hostages at this particular point in time. No, because I've seen y'all trying to slide out the clip. You take your red hat off. You lower the flag in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? I have seen all of that. Okay. Just making sure y'all are clear about where y'all stand. As far as the Democrats are concerned, well, they haven't been content to sit idly by and wait for Mike Johnson and the Republicans to feel compelled to do the job they're being paid to do. The same people that's calling SNAP recipients lazy.
You don't find that suspicious?
Honestly, if Mike Johnson was on SNAP, they should revoke his because he got work that he's not accepting. So that sounds like fraud to me.
I think that.
Come clean. Disgraced prince told he will be forced to spill Epstein's secrets to Congress. House Democrats have launched a new effort to compel Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew, before being stripped of his title, to testify before a congressional committee over his past ties with Jeffrey Epstein, the BBC reported. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. I see why he went with Prince Andrew. I see why. Yeah, that makes sense. If I was him, I would just change my name legally to Prince Andrew so you don't go with Mountbatten. The disgraced British royal to appear voluntarily before facing a possible subpoena. If he wants to clear his name, if he wants to do right by the victims, he will come forward. Frankly, Andrew's name has come up many times from the victims, so he clearly has knowledge of what happened, and we just want him to come forward and tell us what he knows. That from Representative Subramaniam of Virginia. Mountbatten Windsor has faced renewed scrutiny over his past relationship with Epstein, who died in 2019. In October, the British royal was booted from royal life after newly published emails revealed he had maintained contact with Epstein following his initial 2008 arrest on child crimes. He maintained contact with Epstein after his arrest, knowing that all of that was being monitored? That's way worse than the incriminating calls from jail. You are a Mountbatten Windsor. Disgusting.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Representative Krishnamurthy is another member of the House Oversight Committee, which holds the authority to subpoena individuals, and told the BBC that his committee would be willing to force Mountbatten Windsor to testify should he refuse to speak with lawmakers willingly. If Andrew wishes to come to the U.S. or he's here, then he's subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. Congress, and I would expect him to testify. Come clean, come before the U.S. Congress, voluntarily testify. Don't wait for a subpoena. Come and testify and tell us what you know. Okay. Well, one thing is for sure. If he maintained contact with Epstein after his arrest, he ain't coming to testify. He ain't. That much is clear. However, I salute the attempt. And I feel like more of these overtures need to be extended. Keep that energy and keep that drumbeat going, because it is pretty clear they're attempting to run out the clock on public interest with this particular thing. And they bet badly when it came to not swearing in a duly elected member of Congress, which just gives us a timestamp on exactly how obstinate and derelict of duty you have been. So they would only go to those lengths if they were desperate. No. You mean like the kind of desperate they was on Tuesday during them elections? You mean that kind of desperate? You mean like the kind of desperate Winsome Earl Sears was for Trump to acknowledge her presence? You mean the kind of desperate Jack Ciattarelli's family is for him not to run again? You mean the kind of desperate Curtis Sliwa is to get back on Fox News? Nah, I mean the kind of desperate Curtis Sliwa is when he can't find his raspberry beret. That kind of desperate. It doesn't look good on you, MAGA. But you love to see it.
Oh, now, Curtis, you got to start swapping out the beret for a do-rag, baby.
Never had a do-rag on in my life.
I think he look good in a do-rag. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. And a very special shout out to my man, Brian, who sent me this photo in his fresh Who Raised Y'all gear and said, just wanted to show you how I represent the Reese Waters community. I need Reese to add some sweaters to the merch store, though. It's getting cold. And that is actually a fantastic idea, because if you know me at all, I yearn for the cold so I have an excuse to cover my front porch. See, spring and summer is fit people weather, and I have never been invited to that club.
I know, man. It hurt me too. Come here, man.
So good idea, Brian, and shout out to you for your support. Be on the lookout for more. We got Release the Files and Kamala Was Right gear that's hitting right about now.
But not yet. We need to install the plumbing. I'll go get the bathroom.
But another thing I would like to address, I've received lots of comments and emails from people that said we would love to support the channel, but we're furloughed right now, or we've been hit by some of the cuts to benefits, and times are a little bit tight. We were laid off, things like that. You being here and supporting the channel by virtue of attending the premieres, dropping a comment, sending kudos, a like, whatever you do is more than enough. You are seen at this particular time and you are absolutely supported. Anybody that's been affected by the elimination of benefits or growing economic insecurity, you can support the channel and the content without being a paid member at all. Just watching the videos to the end past the outro helps in the algorithm. So does watching the ads all the way through. Also liking and sharing posts and leaving those comments on your social media platforms also boosts engagement.
I can promise you, until you do right by me, everything you think about is gonna crumble.
Oh, that's right. Miss Ray can always use help. So if you're interested in volunteering to be a mod, you can send us a message at admin@reesewaters.com. Now, this is a channel where I value honesty and authenticity. And one of the things that I have communicated to you on several occasions is my heavy use of enhancements. Yeah, I have been known to enter the enhancement game. That's why I be so tough on Byron. You know, that's why I be so tough on Byron, because every time I go down to CNN, ain't no more Beijing. You know what I mean? Ain't no, hey, you know what I mean? Just selfish. That'd be a MAGA. That definitely be a MAGA. So at this particular point in time, I would just like to acknowledge one of our own in Jaylen Brown, who unfortunately was exposed for all the world to see. And like in so many different instances in life, I can say, yay, but for the grace of God go I. That could have been me. That could have been me. You know, it had a completely different body and DNA and gene structure, and was athletic and had discipline and all. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, if y'all were close enough to brush up against me, right, your shirt would be dirty. Your shirt would be, we can be honest. This is a safe space. So to my brother, Jaylen Brown, I just wanted to say, we support you and we love you. And if you have a +1 on that trip out to Turkey, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I clear the whole schedule. You know, I clear the whole thing.